Greetings, everyone. It's great to be with you. Thank you so much for joining us. I much appreciate these opportunities to learn with you. Our presentation today is entitled New Atlantis, Utopian Direction and Self-Mastery 3. Now, down through the ages, philosophers and mystics have bequeathed to humanity inspiring stories of communities living in a harmonious manner. The ideals promulgated in these utopian tales have provided long-term direction for the evolvement and improvement of societies and the individual. As humanity has matured and attained, so have these utopian descriptions evolved over the centuries, from Plato's Republic to the Rosicrucian Utopia in the Positio Fraternitatis Rosae Crucis. We'll focus on a story published posthumously in 1626, New Atlantis by Sir Francis Bacon, a major influential figure in the history of the Rosicrucians. Now, to prepare ourselves for our presentation, I want to introduce you to a particular slide. It'll help inspire us and be fitting for our topic today. You'll see before you now a work by Glenn Rupchan. It's entitled The Inherent Nobility of Man, the Inherent Nobility of Humanity. I think many of you may actually know it, and seen it. It's actually at the Piarco International Airport in Piarco, Trinidad and Tobago. The work dates from 2006, and the painting is based on a former mural that was at this airport, and the work had by the same title by the artist Carlisle Chang, and it dated from 1962. That original mural was destroyed during major construction work at Piarco International Airport during the 1970s. We'll zoom in a little bit more on this great painting. You'll see that there's 8 panels in acrylics, 15 feet by 50 feet. In 2022, the work was installed with a ceremony at the airport as part of the recognition of 60 years of independence of Trinidad and Tobago. Now, Rupchan was a student of Chang, and Chan was very appreciative and influenced by the Mexican muralist painter and traditional Rosicrucian Diego Rivera. Intriguingly, in the work, you'll see a wealth of symbolism and very subtle colors in the blues and the browns and greens and yellows and other colors of the spectrum. You notice in the center, there's a Carib chief giving prayer. And then there's an image of the Amerindian hero, a hummingbird man or hummingbird being here. We'll see across the work the trials and struggles and triumphs of humanity in the universal sense, but also in the sense of the rich heritage, accomplishments, and wisdom of indigenous people and people with heritages from all continents living in Trinidad and Tobago. It's quite befitting for our discussion on utopian direction and self-mastery that we see this wonderful work of artistry and showing how humanity evolves and learns in the deep spirit of this Caribbean nation, representative of all experience of humanity. At this time, I've been taking in this inspiring work on a grand scale with a grand theme. Let us undertake our own transformation and transmutation to rise up into the cosmic. Follow that utopian direction that is deep within us. The place of betterment, increasingly identify with the wise elder within us, the master within. For as each one of us is uplifted, we help uplift all others. And as each one of us is healed, we help heal all those we come in contact with. And similar as this work portrays a great harmony of their inner and outer natures and of living harmonious with our surroundings when we act with wisdom and learn the lessons of life. Let us undertake similarly in our meditation period today and throughout our days today and our life in general. So we lift up not only ourselves, but all those we come in contact with in the society we live in and humanity as a whole. This is part of the true underlying meaning of utopia. Now, let us begin our meditation to further prepare ourselves for our presentation today and the mastery of life. I invite you to close your eyes and take what Rosicrucians refer to as deep neutral breaths. Breathe a little more deeply than you usually do, neither holding the inhalation nor holding the exhalation. Just enjoy the gentle rhythm of the breath. It's part of the rhythms of the cosmos, both of the microcosm within us, but in the mirrored macrocosm of the law of correspondence. The act of breathing, something that one can take for granted. But in the mastery of life, as we learn to work with our breath, we'll find it's a wonderful key in all circumstances, especially when we prolong the exhalation, which I invite you to do now. For in that act, the relaxation response will occur because we've stimulated the great vagus nerve as part of our nervous system. These are all things that we learn in our weekly lessons, the Rosicrucians, in a deeper spiritual way, in addition to the scientific knowledge of them. Many of these things are things that the Rosicrucians have known for centuries and have passed down to all those who are ready to know them. With that relaxation response, let us spiritualize it for a deep sense of calmness and centeredness. This allows, with each incoming breath of the vital life force, increasing presence of our true nature, the master within, the wise elder within us, that can provide us with the ideal or utopian direction. But also, as we mature and evolve, we have the capacity and knowledge of the laws to make them a reality. So the ideal is transmuted into reality. The seeming impossible becomes possible. The seeming insurmountable becomes mastered and known and surmounted. These and many other inspiring things occur to us through our Rosicrucian studies, the attainment of wisdom, practice of meditation daily. Let's continue to enjoy the gentle rhythm of the breath. We'll continue our meditation by applying the instructions of the booklet Liber 777. We'll give you resources on later on in the presentation. The key document, one of the main methods of meditation of the Rosicrucians. We'll use a prayer and invocation that embodies the meaning and purpose of life, the law of cosmic attunement, the law of purification. I invite you to say it after me now. May the divine essence of the cosmic cleanse me of all impurities of mind and body, that I may commune with the celestial sanctum. May my moral consciousness be so enlightened that any imperfections of my thinking may be revealed to me. May I be given the power of will to correct them. I humbly petition that I may perceive the fullness of nature and partake thereof, ever consistent with the cosmic good. So mote it be. Now, fratres and sorors and participants, I invite you now to use all your inner psychic faculties and imaginative capacity to picture yourself rising up from your dwelling, or wherever you're situated, enjoying the exhilaration of the ascent above your nearby surroundings, your neighborhood, your town or city, geographic area. Keep rising up. We'll apply the law of correspondence again, where as we rise up, we'll also go deeper and deeper within, to the very presence of the divine within. Keep rising up now, up over your county and province or state, up over your great nation, country, whether it be in the Caribbean, United States, Canada, or beyond, on this temple of the earth. And see below the weather systems, the landforms applicable to your area, the water systems, and continue to rise up. Enjoy this ascent as part of your true nature and being. See now the continent where you dwell, the hemisphere, now the entirety of the beautiful blue jewel that is the temple of the earth, rotating about its axis as we see the beautiful whitish moon revolving about planet Earth. Let us continue to rise up and see the solar system, the great fiery ball of the sun, the huge planet of Jupiter, and the wondrous rings of Saturn and the other planets. Their beautiful elliptical orbits, the system and order and harmony, spheres. This is the great music and vibrations within our being, holy temple of the body. So there is throughout the macrocosm, mirroring us. Let us continue to rise up past stellar phenomena, the quasars, the pulsars, interstellar gases, the asteroids, the rogue planets, nebulae. Let us start to sense our even greater home in the Milky Way galaxy with its great spiraling arms. Let's continue to go faster and faster, way beyond the speed of light, enjoying the exhilaration of the ascent, and feeling as we rise up higher and higher into the cosmos, we go deeper and deeper into our nature, divine within. As you rise faster and faster, let us exit out from our beautiful spiraling home, the Milky Way galaxy. Look down on its wondrous action as it too rotates about its center. Let us continue to rise up past other galaxies now, myriad stars and nebula. Enjoy the exhilaration of the ascent. Higher and higher, straight up, all the way up. Past now clusters of galaxies and even superclusters of galaxies. Let's continue on our way, going higher and higher and deeper within, increasingly aware of the Rosicrucians refer to as the cosmic, which is the cosmos as the whole and the universal intelligence back of it, and all natural and spiritual laws that we learn weekly in our Rosicrucian studies and monographs and exercises. Just like we're doing now. Continue to rise up, feeling increasingly the wonder, beauty of it all. We continue to rise up past galaxy after galaxy, nebulae and stars after star, superclusters of galaxies, and start to sense now a stupendous rotation of the universe itself about a great cosmic axis, spoken of by mystics and philosophers since in ancient times. This great cosmic axis mirrors us as a microcosm, and our spine as an axis. Move faster and faster towards that cosmic axis, its very midpoint, the center of the cosmos, which by macrocosm, microcosm correspondence mirrors the center of our being. Move faster and faster and slow up when you get close to the midway, the cosmic axis. And when you're there, dwell for a time in profound peace, what Rosicrucians call peace profound. We're at the very heights of the celestial sanctum now, the highest point of consciousness that we can attune with. Just let go, relax, feel the profound peace as we dwell in silence for a while at the center of our being, the center of the cosmos. To aid in this period of cosmic attunement, you may wish to follow further instructions of the booklet Liber 777 and visualize now yourself surrounded by your personal sacred space, your celestial sanctum. It may be some inspiring temple on earth or some beautiful place in nature that you know of. Fill in the sights and sounds and all the psychic impressions to make it real and vital. And feel a degree of exhilaration in doing so, just as we felt exhilaration rising to this high point of cosmic consciousness. You may wish to picture in your celestial sanctum as you fill in all your impressions of it. Fellow seekers and Rosicrucians on this conference call with us today. And all seekers on earth, the officers of the Rosicrucian Order Amorc, and the Grand Lodge officers, and the Supreme Grand Lodge officers, and the Imperator who may be conducting a special sacred convocation at the heights of the celestial sanctum at this time. You may wish to picture two incense rising up just as we rose up into the cosmic. Maybe stained glass windows or other works of art depicting Rosicrucian laws and principles, deep mystical truths. Just continue to fill in your visualization. At a certain point, I'll mention when you can release it and return to peace profound. Now, once you have your visualization of your personal celestial sanctum, release it. You can say, so mote it be. Just increasingly be receptive to the divine within. Full range of octaves on the cosmic keyboard. A sea of vibrations, which is all the cosmos existence. And increasingly surrender to the divine within. To be remade, rejuvenated in mystical silence. If you find your mind wandering, just lovingly, gently bring it back to the gentle rhythm of your breath. Matching the breath that created the universe. Continue to dwell at the heights of the celestial sanctum. As you surrender to the divine within, just let your mind expand throughout the cosmos to become the cosmic mind, the universal intelligence back of all. With each incoming breath, let your mind expand out to fill the universe, to be the cosmic. Experiences the cosmic experiences. Assume the cosmic. now. There's many reasons that the booklet Liber 777 reminds us where we rise to the heights of the celestial sanctum, become one with the cosmic mind, to be for healing ourselves and others, or in general enlightenment, or answers to questions beyond our finite resources. Just be receptive as we dwell, tuning with the cosmic, assuming the cosmic. Now, as we continue this period of cosmic attunement, let us conduct a further spiritual operation of the Rosicrucian Order Amorc. I invite you now, this heightened state of awareness, form with silent council in conjunction with the Council of Solace, the Rosicrucian Order Amorc. Let us radiate love and well-being in the center of our hearts and minds, the center of the cosmos. To all those who've petitioned the Grand Lodge for our order, for guidance and healing. Let us radiate love and well-being to all those who've petitioned the order's affiliated bodies for guidance and healing. And let us radiate love and well-being to all those you know of who are in need of guidance and healing. And let us radiate love and well-being to all sentient beings throughout the cosmos who are in need of guidance and healing. Just let the love and well-being flow out from you like a great spotlight searching out into a landscape, filling all around it with light. Or like a great fountain gushing forth water throughout the cosmos. Just let it flow with tremendous rapidity, akin to the great rapidity which we rose up into the cosmic. Let the love and well-being radiate out to you, from you. Feel the exhilaration of its flow as we fulfill the law of service, the law of cosmic attunement. At a certain point, I think you'll find that the flow of love and well-being increases. You know you're reaching those in need. At a certain point, I think you can let go any conscious effort. The divine within continue with the operation of radiations of love and well-being. Continue surrendering, be one with the one, recently identified with our true nature, the master within, now. Soon we'll formally close our period of the work of the silent council in conjunction with the Council of Solace. But we're assured that this will continue as a way of life, as part of our growth and maturity, attainment of self-mastery. We'll continue our meditation, but to formally close this period of metaphysical aid, I invite you to say with me now, if it pleases the cosmic, it is done. So mote it be. Now, fratres and sorors and participants, let us dwell a while longer at the heights of the celestial sanctum, at one with the one, assuming the cosmic. We'll soon begin our descent from the heights of the celestial sanctum. This time you may wish to apply the Rosicrucian law of gratitude to express thanks for heartfelt nature to all those who have taught you well, to all those who have guided you well, to all those who have loved you well, and to all those who have sacrificed well on your behalf, to all those who have set a great example for you of an inspiring nature. Now, fratres and sorors and participants, let us begin our descent from the heights of the celestial sanctum with tremendous speed back to the temple of the earth. Past the superclusters of galaxies, clusters of galaxies, galaxies, enjoying the beauty and wonder of it all, the sense of awe, great handiwork of the divine. Past myriad stars, quasars and pulsars and rogue planets and comets, and nebulae, black holes helping balance the universe. You see way in the distance, the beautiful spiraling arms of the Milky Way galaxy. And zoom towards it, way beyond the speed of light, entering back into the great arm where we dwell, past myriad stars and nebulae. And see in the distance harmonious elliptical orbits, planets of our solar system, great fiery ball of the sun, the beautiful blue jewel of the earth, and home in our temple of the earth. See the hemisphere where you left off, continent, great nation or country, province or state, county, geographic area, or town or city. I invite you to say with me a further invocation, prayer involving the law of purification. May the God of my heart sanctify this attunement of self with the celestial sanctum. So mote it be. And fratres and sorors and participants, let us continue further down in our neighborhood, the home or dwelling where we left off, the room, feel where you're situated. You may wish to open your eyes and stretch, feeling remade, rejuvenated, all the more ready for the work and worship of the Rosicrucian Order and work this day and always. Thank you. Now we turn to our presentation on the New Atlantis, Utopian Direction, Self-Mastery 3. And I'll show you some images that inspired some university students in their architectural project, which I'll give you a reference to on the theme of the New Atlantis. Now, utopia means no place. It also means an ideal to strive towards. And as Albert Hubbard said of the Roycroft utopian community, it's a state of mind. Utopia is different from dystopia. In dystopia, where living has been imposed, or a way of living has been imposed and thereby gone astray. True utopia is something that we evolve towards, that we grow towards, not through revolution, but as the Rosicrucian teachings remind us, through gradual evolution, then things can be founded in permanency. Now, cultures around the world have stories of ideal living for the future, but also stories of an earlier ideal age, sometimes called the Golden Age, to strive to or to return to or attain. These are all at their deepest level fundamental stories to help inspire us to learn and grow. The Rosicrucian Order Amorc and closely allied organization, Traditional Martinist Order TMO, reveal to us the progressive purpose of the stories of utopia for the evolution of consciousness. In the story of the New Atlantis, by Sir Francis Bacon, who's traditionally past imperator of the Rosicrucian Order Amorc, there's a story that is similar to other utopias, where there's a ship's crew sail out from westward from Peru in South America. And they're on a perilous journey with storms. And they fear for their lives, and they're finally with great gratitude, come and find refuge on an island called Ben Salem, a symbolic name. And there they meet the inhabitants of Ben Salem. They seem to be living in a much more ideal, much more mature, much more respectful way than they had experienced back in Europe. As evolved as it was, you could see how much more there was to grow and learn and do well by each other. In a way, the work of art you see before you here is sort of an awe and inspiration that they had of the wondrous place of the New Atlantis. And Atlantis, of course, refers to the story of Atlantis and its legend told by the traditional Rosicrucian Plato, and spoken of in his dialogues associated with Timaeus and particularly the Republic. We know the Republic itself, in a way, was in a utopian tale, and also a story of the microcosm mirroring the macrocosm, where the ideal structure that Plato revealed, in a way, talks about the ideal workings of our own bodies and minds. And there's various allusions to that in the story of Atlantis, the Republic, but also the Republic itself. Now, on this island that the crew get adjusted to, they find that they're treated very well, and they're taken to a particular house of strangers. But it's one where they're treated with great respect, and there's a place of healing. And they're surprised by the healing methods of the inhabitants of Ben Salem. They heal much more quickly than they ever thought possible. Come back into harmony, similar to the Rosicrucian lessons for healing and harmony, including the metaphysical aid that we just did recently. And on this island, Ben Salem, there's a special house of Solomon. It's a slightly different spelling than the King Solomon, but it's a veiled reference to King Solomon and to the wisdom. It's also a veiled reference to Sir Francis Bacon being a member and the tradition of the Rosicrucians. And the House of Solomon, like the Rosicrucians, strive to know the first causes of all things. In the House of Solomon, there's a wide ranging of pursuits, scientific nature. Scientific nature developed by the scientific method that was revealed to the world through Sir Francis Bacon and by his Rosicrucian studies. But in it, he talks about the House of Solomon, dealing with all sorts of things to do with what we today would call physics and astronomy and medicine and various forms of technology. This is of great inspiration, particularly to those of the crew who are very thoughtful in their nature. Now, you see before us here a depiction that reminds us of the Italian Renaissance, but also inspired an architectural student on the story of the new Atlantis. And just as there was the story of the Atlantis being evolved people that needed to learn and grow and passed on traditions to others, this new Atlantis story, Sir Francis Bacon, in a way, describes a more progressive way of living. And this House of Solomon, with its experiments and its traditions to pursue knowledge, in a way also parallels what I read in an earlier Rosicrucian Digest article that I'll give you a reference to later in this presentation, where the author of the Sanctum Musings article talks about a manuscript that they have with extensive experiments written and recorded and known to Sir Francis Bacon. These experiments were of a physical, psychic, and overall spiritual nature, similar to our meditation that we did earlier today, and the traditional lessons and exercises that evolved and changed over the centuries that were introduced in our Rosicrucian lessons to do with visualization, to do with contact healing, and metaphysical aid, development of the psychic centers. These are similar to what the House of Solomon in the New Atlantis dealt with and developed. You know, the story of the New Atlantis has parallels, of course, with the inspiring earlier story by Thomas More, entitled Utopia, but also ones of the 17th century by Campanella that I've spoken to you earlier about, in his story of the City of the Sun, or Andrea, again, another traditional Rosicrucian like Bacon and Campanella, story of the Christianopolis. It may well be that these stories were coordinated through these Rosicrucian students to be revealed to the world, and they worked on these stories in a way together. And it was a master plan, along with the very recent, in that century, in the early 17th century, they released the Rosicrucian manifestos, such as the Famma Fraternitatis. Indeed, the scholar Sir Francis Bacon, I should say, Francis Yates, I should say, so Bacon was a scholar as well, talks about in her book on the Rosicrucian Enlightenment, the parallels of these stories with the Rosicrucian, we know of Rosicrucian ideas, conceptions, and also that they were in a way like the manifestos of the Rosicrucians, revealing a progressive or more ideal way of living. In some ways, these Rosicrucian utopias are married or one with the Rosicrucian manifestos. Now, it's important to keep in mind that these stories of utopia, including the New Atlantis of Sir Francis Bacon, are allegories with multiple levels and senses of meaning. There are elements that can be taken literal. You know, for example, the importance of education, the not engaging in child labor and so forth. But a lot of the things are not to be taken so literally that, oh, we're supposed to immediately do this and impose it. No, it's something that we mature, evolve in. You see this in a way, this is the deepest sense of theocracy. There's a term theocracy that's used in parallel with democracy, theocracy to mean guidance by religious or spiritual figures. There's an even deeper mystical meaning of theocracy that's revealed to us in the Rosicrucian studies and in our Martinist studies. That theocracy means the guidance of wisdom. In a way, as we grow and learn and mature, we have a theocracy within our microcosm. But as we grow and mature, and others grow in maturity, that sense of cosmic consciousness or the presence of the Christ consciousness becomes more worldwide, and that evolves and grows, and the theocracy, the guidance of wisdom is possible. But it's a gradual development over the centuries, over incarnations. These are part of this inspiring lessons of these utopias. Also, it's important to keep in mind that the concept of utopia reveals, as I mentioned earlier, a state of mind, an uplifted state of mind. You know, the Rosicrucian studies, we learn a lot of laws, and one of the important laws is the law of the triangle. It could also be called the law of perfection, or the law of manifestation, the law of creation. These stories, in a way, activate our emotional nature, but they're also subtly intriguing to our intellect. And when we blend properly our emotions and our intellect, like our Rosicrucian studies do, then there's a perfect mix of that deeper intuitive and spiritual insight that we get. Our monographs and these utopian stories are all geared to do that for us. At best, the spiritual writings of mystics all do that for us as well, especially when they recount their experiences of cosmic consciousness. The stories of the utopia are also ones that give us an example of mature development, mature behavior for us to model ourselves after. Also, they give us an ideal to work towards, to improving. Now, I know sometimes people downplay the importance of ideals, but they're extremely important. In a way, when we have the proper mix of ideals and realism, we have that self-mastery is manifested. And this is part and parcel of our Rosicrucian lessons. They're also, as we grow and mature, we're able then to improve society and service to all. This has a parallel with the Albert Hubbard, the traditional Rosicrucian statement, and one of the doors at the Roycroft Inn, to produce great people, and the rest will follow. See, this is what the underlying goal for us. Now, the story of the New Atlantis was also, as I've alluded to already, veiled reference to the Rosicrucian order, but it also became an inspiration of the development of what was called the Royal Society. You see, Bacon wanted there, as he related in his example of Solomon's house, symbolically shown in part two before us now, that humanity would take time to examine nature, to work in harmony with it, to explore more inwardly, and see that there's great lessons in the laboratorium of the cosmos all around us. And by having that leisure time, we'd also have time to make great advancements for ourselves, our well-being, and the well-being of all. There was also an inspiration for the Rosicrucian community that came with Magister Kelpius and especially selected initiates from various parts of Europe with special skills in arts, sciences, and technologies that settled by the creeks of the Wissahickon and set up their tabernacle in the wilderness, what is now Fairmount Park in Philadelphia. Philadelphia itself is a symbolic mystical name. Now, these matters all parallel for us. Fine example of living that our best teachers and our parents or elders may have set for us, and ultimately suggests the master within as our wise elder, that we increasingly realize as ourselves, our true nature, and ideals in living that can thereby become realities. In this matter, the process, as we see before us this symbolic diagram, the house of Solomon, with their various experiments to do with gearing and movement of time, submersible flying machine, beauty of nature and the beautiful symbolism of eternity associated with the peacock, the light bulb and the luminosity through the inner and outer nature and alchemy, and the inspiring nature of the cosmos above. That the process that is the journey is important as the goal itself. And as we come into greatness, then the rest follows. You know, traditionally, Plato, a mystic and philosopher, in his Pythagorean-inspired text Timaeus, mentions that the state is fashioned after the likeness of the human body and its faculties or powers. And the loftiest part of the city is where the noble citizens dwell. The outskirts of the city locate the cobblers and practitioners of other trades. The state and the human body are similar, because just as the greatest of all people dwell in the highest place, the symbolic of the city, so the greatest power of the soul, namely reason, is set in the head. The soldiers defend the city, live in the middle of it, and so the heart, possessing the natural energy of the soul, that is the anger by which we resist evil, resides in the middle of the human. At the outer edge of the cities, of the workers, namely the tradespersons and other working classes who desire to acquire things, and so the human desires to live around the body's most hindmost quarters. So you see, in ancient times, Plato's describing to you, for us, how the human body mirrors the ideal state, but at the same time, the ideal state story mirrors the ideal harmonious action within ourselves. There's a similar structure, as above, so below, with a law of correspondence. And quite beautifully, in Plato's Republic, near the end, he mentions, after describing inspiring cities of Atlantis and the Republic itself, that the city of which we are founders exists in idea only. For I do not believe that there is such as anyone anywhere on earth. In heaven there is laid up a pattern of it, which those who desire may behold, and beholding may set their soul in order in the likeness of a perfect city. But whether such a one exists or ever will, in fact, is of no matter. For we will live after the manner of that city. So this is part of the great story of the utopias, and why they're revealed to us by the traditional Rosicrucians, and how they can help inspire us and uplift us and create our own utopias in these multiple senses. At this time, I'll ask Sora Karen to post for you or paste for you resources for this presentation in the chat. Together it'll take 2 pastes, and also to upload a PDF document with the resources. And you may find it easiest to download that PDF document. So while Karen is doing that, I'll say a few concluding remarks to you. We have examined the concept of utopia as an uplifted state of mind, an allegory for mature development of ourselves, an ideal to work towards in improving society and in service to all. The story of the new Atlantis that we've particularly focused on, Sir Francis Bacon, has all these qualities as well as a symbolic representation of the Rosicrucian order, and an inspiration for the development of the Royal Society and its widespread upliftment of the scientific knowledge of humanity. And the Rosicrucian community, who in 1694 landed in what is known as the Philadelphia area. In this manner, we have continued to explore Rosicrucian laws and principles and their creative expression and application for the mastery of life, harmonious living, and service. Thank you, everyone. It's great to be with you.